Here's some worst books that I have read that BookTok has recommended to me. Number one, I think a lot of people are gonna agree with this and some may not, but Credence literally traumatized me. I knew what I was going into when I read it, and I still read it, and I will not be reading anything else like that ever again. Fairy Tale is also a big one that everybody has loved, and I haven't seen a lot of people dislike it, but I just thought it was like 400 pages too long, and this book is like 700 pages. I'm also not a huge reincarnation trope type of person. My rating always goes down in books when I realize it's a reincarnation. First like 30% of the book, I was very weirded out. Like I can take weird things, feeling like I was living in like the Twilight Zone. Visions and Shadows was another book that I saw that TikTokers were being paid to promote. There might have been a reason for that. It was like a Noah the Ark story, but it's this girl like just gathering random people around and trying to save them and bring them back to like a new earth. Blood of Hercules, this writing style, I'm sorry, I just thought this was so bad. I was just reading, it felt like from someone's diary because the amount of parentheses that this author loved. I'm sure if you listen to this on audiobook, it might have been a little better for you, but I want to throw my Kindle across the room because of how many parentheses there were in this book. Not to mention that this was not really a wide choose. There was really no romance because all the main male characters absolutely hated the female character. Last, Mrs. Parrish. Now I find this very similar to The Housemaid, so if you've read one or you read the other, like you've read them both. Literally the same story with just like a few tweaks in it. Housemaid was the first book that I read with like this similar plot twist, so any other book that I read with like the same plot twist in it, I'm like, I've already seen it coming. Blood and Aether. Now this wasn't terrible, it's just that I was waiting for like a plot to happen the entire book because it's like set up in the beginning, but then I'm waiting and waiting. There's like friendship and romance and training and school, which is fun, but then the plot doesn't happen until like the last 10% when there's a plot twist, and the plot twist really isn't even that big. And then the book ends and I'm like, okay, I was waiting for this like at the 40%, 50% mark. And the last book that I read based off TikTok,
excuse me,
Bewitched. I think I would have liked this a lot better if the male main character just didn't annoy me so much. And again, this is one where it's like a reincarnation trope, but he was so rude to her the entire time and so mean for like no reason. And I felt like the female character kind of acted a little too like Gen Z, even though I am a Gen Zer. And so unfortunately, I can't DNF books. I rarely do, so I have to see them through even if they're terrible. Let me know what some of your worst books that you have read that were suggested from BookTok.